Ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement. This, barring anyone doing something outlandishly stupid, is the second to last time we're going to be talking about the build up to the election, because what comes next is the election. And I'm not staying up all night to figure out who won. That's going to be what I do the next day, where I'm just going to have to find out via a surprise who won the election. And I thought to myself, and I said, self, what could be something to talk about in the final build up to it? What layer of confusion or stupidity is out there that could make for one final crescendo as to how brain dead we are as a society in the build up between two individuals and who is going to be running the country and who we're going to blame for all the problems for the next 4 years. And I found this.
If kids are hungry in school, what that does to brain and learning, you're not going to learn to read. So if you're talking about learning to read and closing gaps, then you better take away the barriers for that. If that's tampons, then that's tampons.
That was Tim Walz's wife doing an interview with somebody in regards to several different topics. And I kept seeing this 13-second clip get posted all over. And yes, it's a little bit of an eyebrow raiser, but I thought to myself and I said, Self, what is the context to this? Because I'd be interested to know, what was the buildup? What was the question that led to this answer? What was said before and a little bit after that would lead one to say that, we could start comparing the effectiveness of school lunches and children's development to tampons. And after about 5 minutes, I found the full interview. I think it's like 50 minutes. And this question starts to get asked around the 41-minute mark. And here it is in fullest of context.
And I think in a campaign, sometimes people, they make these assumptions about people.
Yeah.
And I think you've probably witnessed that happening with your husband. He's been criticized by the right for things like supporting gender-affirming care, signing a law that mandates free menstruation products in public school restrooms. Some people have called him Tampon Tim, and I think they've painted a portrait of an uber liberal guy. And, they talk about the school lunches and school breakfasts, which I don't know how you can actually criticize that. But I'm curious how you would describe kind of his overall philosophy and political philosophy when it comes to issues like that.
I think Tim and I have always thought about removing barriers to learning and success. And whatever that barrier is, whether it be free lunch or menstruation products or knowing who you are, everyone means everyone. And some things look different for some people. People have different needs and they have different resources. But everyone means everyone and all of us. And so that is not an unmessy journey, right? But we have looked at it like, what do you need to move forward? What do you need to be happy and healthy and have success? And how might we most effectively and best help with that? And then mind your own damn business, right? Then get out of the way. Because, and I think that those two pieces probably described him. He's compassionate, he's empathetic, he removes barriers. If kids are hungry in school, what that does to brain and learning, you're not going to learn to read. So if you're talking about learning to read and closing gaps, then you better take away the barriers for that. If that's tampons, then that's tampons, right? Take away the barriers and let's get to the real work of this. Not get lost in what are, what are components and as some people would say, equaling the playing field or whatever it might be. I think he does a great job of that, but I also think, then he's like, whose business is that? Like, mind it yourself. Now I have to put a quarter in this swear jar, but mind it yourself. Like, let's just get on about the real important issues that we have to solve, not get caught up in people's own personal business. Let's just provide what we need to provide, you know?
Now that you have that in the fullest of context, I would just like to say I'm not against tampons being in girls' bathrooms at school, because maybe I'm just the person who had to learn about this and had to understand it more and more as I got older and dealing with a lot of older women, is that a period doesn't happen for the first time in a way that you could map it out and plan it to the most minute detail. It's kind of like a big surprise. You're bleeding in your underwear. Ooh, what fun. And you would kind of have to deal with that in certain scenarios. And if you are a little girl and you're in school and you just blow up everywhere, of course, that's going to be embarrassing. You're going to have to deal with it. And it would be good if there was some easy, accessible way for them to get it in the girls' bathroom. Completely different story for the boys' bathroom, and you could argue that why is it even in the boys' bathroom? Now, you could talk about unisex bathrooms and how it could be fine for them being in there because, hey, when you're out and about at a store or a restaurant, they got a unisex bathroom, and if you blow up in there, you go in there and they got tampons, that's perfectly fine.
Where to even start with this? As a cisgender man, I cannot understand what possible threat a basket full of feminine hygiene products presents to anyone. I would venture that the presence of such a basket might actually save the evening of a cis man like me, because I could be out with my wife or my daughter or someone else who happens to menstruate. They might go into the other bathroom, and because there's a high demand for these products, find that there are none. I could then act as a supplier for that, thus being the hero and saving the evening. But thanks to your heroic actions and money-wasting activities, that possibility is now ruined. Speaking more directly to the transphobia, trans men are men. I would watch out for one of them like they were my brother. Please, let's work on being better humans.
But I'm specifically worried about, because it was addressed right there, school bathrooms, because a lot of schools, maybe some there are, because let's be honest, every school is not the same, don't have unisex. Or if they do, that's usually for teachers and faculty and staff. They usually have boy and girl bathrooms. And I'm not really seeing a reason as to why they need to be in the boys' bathroom specifically. Now, one could make an argument that I really don't have a counter to, whereas, all right, you put them in both bathrooms and they run out in the girls' bathroom and they say, boy, go grab that tampon from in the boys' bathroom and deliver it to this girl who's bleeding out, which honestly, I don't have a counter to. It seems like it would be a logistical way to operate if they ran out in one bathroom, or, you know, you could just stockpile them, maybe have 2 containers or 3 or 4, however many you need in the girls' bathroom, so that they could just not have the conflict of a girl going into the boys' bathroom and that creating a controversy that nobody wants to deal with, because honestly, that's not a controversy I would want to fucking deal with. I'm also just a little bit confused as to how we're going to start closing gaps and breaking barriers by the concept of having tampons in the boys' bathroom, because in this same interview, she talks about how, you know, we can't get so caught up on all these small, minute details and we need to focus on the bigger things. But I would argue ignoring the small details leads to bigger problems down the line, because while tampons in boys' bathroom is not specific to an idea suddenly turning into something bigger, you do have certain complications to where a lot of schools don't really address a lot of issues that concerns the children not being protected, whether it be from bullying of other students to grown adult teachers majorly screwing up by having sexual attraction to these children. There's a lot of barriers and hoops and gaps you really gotta open wide, because if you don't, you're gonna have a lot of people ignoring real issues that need to be addressed, and trying to correlate making change with tampons and school lunches confuses the ever-loving fuck out of me, because while in aspects this is a good thing that is necessary, the way we're going about it seems a little bit strange in the process of how we somehow close these gaps and break barriers. I'm cool with tampons being accessible to these developing children as they exist in the world. I will be confused if they're in a boy's bathroom. I will be confused as to why we're not stockpiling them in the girls' bathroom, because maybe I'm the controversial one, but a boy nor a man can get periods, which are specifically catered towards women and young women ascending into their adulthood And that's not something boys need to have access to at all. But maybe I'm the bigot who needs to move out of the way because change is a coming, and I just clearly don't understand it nor see it because a boy has no benefit to a tampon unless he's going to pretend like he's shoving it up his own ass because these kids are childish. But let me know, are you a fan of tampons in school so that these young girls could have them? Are you against tampons being in school at all? Because that's a private matter that will be saved for your bloody child getting into your car and having to deal with it there. Are you a fan of teachers educating these young girls on the next step of adulthood? Or are you completely against it? Or any other opinion you could have about this subject in the comments down below? Help me out, because what I don't know, you may not know, and we could all learn together. Or pick up a book and we could all learn about periods together. Subscribe to the channel. Mwah. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.